Hi, I'm Ted Wetzel, and we're here to talk about Is America Broken? And in particular today, we're going to talk about don't check out. This is the second secret. Just as a quick reminder, the first secret was don't freak out. So freak out was, listen, as humans, we go through these cycles. We get imbalanced and we have to regain our balance. And as Americans, we are founded on principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and on a governing system that adapts. It's not perfect, so we do need to adapt. And so today, we'll talk about don't freak out. So where are we? Well, we're in Cleveland, Ohio. It was a rainy morning. It's a little overcast. The sun's starting to peek out. Behind me are three different bridges. One was built a few years ago. One was built 100 years ago. There's a railroad behind me. On the other side of that bridge is a steel mill, or what's left of steel mills. Below me is the river that caught fire, the famous river. Here's the thing. We actually don't blame you if you check out. I mean, really, when we think about it, it's actually the rational thing to do right now. First of all, we all live like busy lives. Kids in school, work maybe 6 days a week. Cell phones are buzzing all the time. We're always connected. When do we get our downtime? Let alone, when do we become a citizen? And now we're in the middle of a pandemic. There's racial issues going on. There's this way to look at it. There's that way to look at it. And if you try to peel that apart about what are the roots of like the problem we have, and even like what is the problem we're having, putting a name on it. Does it go back to, wow, we should have never taken prayer out of school? Does it go back to the Vietnam War, to Watergate, to the Iraq War? Where did things go off the rail? And even then it's complicated because who do we listen to? Talking heads have all kinds of opinions, but now we get this feeling like we watch opinions and we don't really watch news. Who do we trust? Our trust in our Washington, D.C. government, let's call it, has degraded from 80% down to, I think the number is 17%. It gets dangerous even to have Thanksgiving dinner. In our interviews of people, we would hear stories now and then of like, we don't go out with those friends anymore. Or maybe we live in a different neighborhood. Or maybe our neighborhood has turned into a left-leaning neighborhood or a right-leaning neighborhood. In a way, according to this data, we have started to check out. This data shows deaths of despair. And you can see how the trend has turned upwards. And there's all sorts of methods for us to check out. We're all thankful for Netflix to be able to find something to watch at night and a series to take our mind off of life. We may check out by simply avoiding people in the neighborhood. We may check out by not going to dinner with those friends anymore. So that's a pretty good pile of crap, right? But here's the thing. In interviews with 250 people to try to piece together this puzzle of is America broken, and coming up with 11 secrets sort of below the surface that put that puzzle together, Americans want to be part of the solution. God, it's a wonderful thing. In spite of all of that crap, we want to be part of this. We know there's something special about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What we're waiting for is a path to show up, a path that we could follow. Now, perhaps the easiest way for that path to show up is for another Lincoln or another Washington to show up and lead this country out of it. We can't bet on that. So maybe just this time, it's going to be collectively we the people. With all of that crap, let's start to call it a different word and call it conflict. Our normal human reaction to conflict would be to either flee or fight. Two acceptable ways to protect ourselves, which brings us squarely to our American foundation of united we stand and divided we fall. So we have a choice to make. We don't have to fight or flee. There's another way. We can learn to collaborate. We can fight to understand. Without a path to follow, without skills to fight to understand, constructive conflict, one of the things we fall into is blaming. And so we end up in this kind of vicious cycle. And this is the cycle of distrust. And what drives the cycle of distrust is we really could use some skills to deal with conflict in positive, constructive ways. So here we are, the year 2020. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We should be helping each other, but we've got two factions tearing us apart to try to get their way. Okay, so what? So don't check out. Okay, so what do we do with don't check out? First, let's just admit that it's okay to check out if we need self-protection. So take your time. Second, it's a primary responsibility of leadership to develop a path for as many of us as possible. We like to say, we the people 2.0, to follow. That path does not seem to be in our near future. Third, that's not necessarily the fault of our leaders. And by the end of Secret 4, we hope that it will be more clear to you how the whole system is kind of rigged against we the people, and even against the two parties. It's mind-boggling, it's fascinating, and it's liberating all at the same time to understand that dynamic of how the two-party system today is not functioning for us. So our leaders are handcuffed. Fourth, by secret number 11, we hope you will be at least marginally satisfied that there is actually a plan developing and that this all makes sense. Enough so that you feel like, all right, I can check in. I want to be part of this. We can kind of flex our mind to expect something to change. How do we do that? Well, I mean, in a word, it's curiosity. In another, 4 words, break your comfort zone. If you want to skip ahead, you can go to Secret 10, where we give some easy starter steps for breaking out of those comfort zones. What we desperately need is to understand each other better. We need to build bridges, not wedges. And we want everyone in on that. We the people 2.0, including the people out here, might say on the fringes. What we've learned is that the people inside of those fringes really do want to work together. And boy, we'd love to include those people too. Expect change.